Welcome to Fireteam, Chad. IGN's Destiny show. Fran Mirabella and Jose Otero are joining me today.
Ahoy.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
It has been a crazy week here at IGN. We've been very, very busy internally.
Yes.
But we did not forget about Destiny, so
No, we
we're
didn't.
back yet again.
We've been launching IGN 1. I'm going to interrupt right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'll let you finish.
No.
IGN 1, this is I've been talking about it on the show, which is why I mentioned it was sort of this top secret thing. But anyway, it's just always on. You can chat and watch content at the same time. It will be live sometimes. That's sort of like you'll get used to, like, if you're seeing us on there, you're like, are they live? And like, we'll let you know when it's live. There's an indicator that's coming a little later. But yeah, you'll be able to like find us on there sometimes, watching Fireteam chat with you. We'll have a designated time. We'll do stuff like that. But I'm pretty excited. Check it out. It's just IGN.com/IGN1. The one, like, I'm holding my finger up. But if you're listening, it's the numeral.
The Ocho.
There you go.
That should have been it.
Perfect.
All right.
Today on the show, we're going to discuss Destiny's... I don't know what to call it. Like Destiny going into November.
Loaded question.
Yeah.
What do we call that?
Destiny going into November, is it going to survive the onslaught of other AAA titles pecking away at its user base?
It's grim. Survive an onslaught of peckers.
It's more dramatic. It's more dramatic if I put it that way.
To give Destiny a hand, and we are talking about a game that is a year old.
Yeah,
right?
it's a year old.
Even with expansions, like, there is something to be said for the longevity of this game versus, like, you know, Fallout's next week, Tomb Raider's next week, Call of Duty's this week, Halo 5 was last week, Assassin's Creed is every year. But
I like that you're just like,
Creed came out
that's
already.
every year. Yeah. It's already out, yeah.
You know, I guess what you're asking is
Halo 5's really good, you know.
On the multiplayer side, not on the single player side. Yeah.
This is not an episode of Unlocked, so let's not go there.
Let's not go there. Let's not cast stones at crappy single player campaigns.
Well,
There's a ton of games coming out, and Destiny actually, per the numbers, has kind of stood the test of time since it's released.
It has a subscriber base, or at least the same amount as registered users as World of Warcraft. It's very close.
Sure.
Very
but
close.
that's like people who've touched it. Don't be fooled by that. You want to talk about... Okay,
you think Activision's being a little shady when talking about the statistics?
It's not
of the
being
user
shady.
base.
It's just like shipped. Metal Gear ships 5 million. You're like, they might have.
No. They released the number of registered users.
I know.
You're comparing it to
just
shipped
so everyone
versus sold through.
Oh, we're doing that thing where we talk over each other. Sorry, everybody.
No, but I think the point you're trying to make is that, you know, shipped versus sold, that companies don't always give us direct information for how well a game sold, and just because something has 25 million registered users doesn't mean it's sold in excess of 25 million copies.
We're not talking about sales. We're talking about user base.
Let me use an example. They're a business. They're going to give you the biggest number, and it was like, what, 25 million registered users. So that's the amount of people that touch it. I'm saying active players. These are people that, how do you define active? People that play it once a month, people that play it once a month for 60 minutes, people that play it once a week. You get where I'm going. We don't know those numbers. However, that is still a huge number, and it's quite a success. So let's not take away from that. But
fun fact about Fran and I, we love statistics.
I sure do. And yeah, if you're like, hey, how's IGN video? And I'm like, we've produced over 1 billion views in our lifetime. Like,
he does it just like that at his desk if you're watching
I do it all
the video.
The time.
But how are we year over year? What are we this week versus last week?
But
this year, we lost everybody.
So Destiny is up against Fallout 4 next week, Call of Duty, Tomb Raider. Like, I guess Destin's question is, are these games going to pull you away? What will be the game that yanks you out of Destiny?
So let's start with Jose.
No, don't start with me. Come back to me.
All right, Fran, we'll start with you.
Nothing is going to pull me away because I'm so deeply invested in this. Until I hit 320 at least, depending on how if the light changes or anything. There's been rumors. But I got to get to 320, and I only have so much time, and I play games on the weekend. So I'm basically playing this. And I am going to play all those other games, but not before I finish this task. And so honestly...
and cloning.
And so what's also interesting, and cloning... Well, actually, I just thought of Tomb Raider. So something happened with Halo. All right, now we're getting into an interesting conversation.
See?
So Halo, I did install, and I couldn't find someone to play multiplayer with, and co-op, I should say. It's just the times weren't aligning, kind of like you see in Destiny, but then I was aligning the stars with Destiny. So I'm like, that's just sitting there, actually. I'm like, I'll get to that later, you know. I kind of missed the boat of the first night. And then Tomb Raider's coming out, though. So actually, I'm very excited to play Tomb Raider. It's my kind of game where, like, I want to have my headphones on.
That's just the narrative.
Downside of Destiny is, like, I don't get to hear and experience the single player thing. You know, I was watching some cutscenes the other night, and you actually don't get to have that same experience. So anyway, I'm really excited for Tomb Raider. Fallout 4 is going to, I think, eat up everybody's time here. I happen to be more a Tomb Raider player. So it's going to take a little of my time, but trust me, I'm going to take very large breaks to play Destiny, and I'll probably play Tomb Raider for 1 or 2 hours at a time. So
my Destiny time base, I'm guessing, is going to plummet with the release of Fallout 4. Fallout 3 is in my top 5 games ever.
Oh, geez.
Like,
yeah, well.
it's seriously one of my favorite franchises. I am unbelievably excited for Fallout 4. I didn't like New Vegas as much, but anyway, so like with this major release right around the corner, I'm just like, my time in Destiny is dramatically going to go down. Like, I might check out Xur. If I see a cool thing happening on Reddit, I might pop in and do it quick. But I can foresee a future where Destiny actually gets taken out of the console, and set on the shelf for a little bit, you know. And I'm wondering, do we think Fallout? I think Fallout's the biggest one that's going to pull away Destiny players, because it's the same type of game where you're leveling and building a character that you really like and taking them through a story. Like, there's actually a story there. It's a little bit different experience. No multiplayer.
You take that back. Taken King had a story. Go ahead.
Yeah.
True.
So there's precedent for this, right? Last year, you guys probably remember visiting the tower when Call of Duty hit.
Yeah.
And it was probably just the first several days. But man, I saw a vacancy. My friends list, because that's when the game was first out. Literally, this was before my pages were always 10 pages full.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, all Guardians who've added me on PlayStation. I know I'm a little behind. But anyway, my pages were not, there were like 6 or 7 pages of players. And like, man, the first few nights I think it was Call of Duty, it was like almost
page and a half.
nobody. No.
Yeah.
It was like low. It might have been a half page at some times. And I
think
like,
the lowest I've ever seen is a third of a page.
Yeah. But we'll see how that is this year, because I've got so many people playing now. But the witness precedent, Call of Duty did. There's a lot of multiplayer players.
3 major releases in the next 4 days. Yeah. Major releases: Tomb Raider, Call of Duty, Fallout.
Yeah. So I'm speculating Call of Duty's going to interfere with it next week.
Yep.
So Trials get in next weekend. Actually, this is what we're saying.
Is Trials every week
Go
now?
to Trials next weekend. No, but I mean play or
just mop up,
meaning
because
play
nobody's
after
there.
Play after Call of Duty and
That's
Fallout
funny.
are out, because it'll be probably a better experience for you. Maybe.
So I will say to flip the question a little bit, because I'm not entirely sure. The idea that what will pull me out of Destiny, I fear, is Destiny itself. I feel like when I look at these games, Fallout 4, I can't speak for Call of Duty. Tomb Raider, I can't speak for. Halo 5, I definitely will not speak positively of that campaign, because I have issues. But those are really good single-player games. And I feel like single player, single player is just not something that I think Destiny does still very well. Like, I feel like the Taken King's campaign was very good. It was, sort of some of the best story they've done, really good cutscenes, a reason to be invested in this evil named Oryx. And then the minute you hit Endgame, all of that just kind of melts away, because Endgame, at least for me, and feel free to correct me, is it's a shared experience. It's raiding with your friends. It's, I don't want to touch multiplayer unless I'm playing with other people. I don't really like to go alone. I don't like pick up groups that much, but I do it from time to time. But even things like the daily, like yesterday, Paradox was up again. And Paradox is something that if you're trying to get those ghosts, that is very hard to do by yourself, because the minute you wipe, you lose the ghost. So I do think that these examples, these other games being tossed out there, regardless of quality, I do want to say that I feel just outdo what Destiny is kind of doing with the single player. Because right now the single player is, here's your expansion game campaign, and then we're done. And you're not going to be really doing a lot of that things by yourself unless they're like bounties.
Yeah.
And also, surprisingly, I think the other thing that might eat away at Destiny is there's no buzz for what's next yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At all.
I still think PSX will be that spot.
You think PSX will be where they drop the expansion bomb?
When it's
they got to do something,
Activision did announce this week that Bungie is going to still have paid expansion, or Destiny is still going to have paid expansions. The microtransactions are not going to supplement
there you go.
The content like Bungie originally said, and that was during a earnings call. So, we are still going to see DLC for Destiny.
Yep.
But Jose hits on a good point, which is like, we're sitting here talking about what will pull us away. Your question, though, actually, Destin, and maybe that's where we clarify, are you saying what do you think might pull people away and they don't come back, or just what might take people away for the holiday season?
I think if they get pulled away by one of these games for a month, they might not come back. I think you're
right.
Because there's Just Cause 3 is coming later in December, and then next year we have other titles on the way. Overwatch was announced for July. There's so many. People have really figured out the next gen consoles. They figured out what people like, and a lot of good stuff is on the way.
See, but I find that point interesting just because, and at first I would have argued against this point, but it feels like Bungie and maybe Activision are very content if Destiny becomes this game that you jump to when the expansion's hot, and then you leave when it's basically you're done with what you have to do until the next thing comes along. And I will say that unlike most games I've played in my entire career as someone who's been playing video games, Destiny is the one game that I could walk away for 2 and 3 months, and when I pick it up, I'm fine.
Because you have plenty to do.
Yeah, or at least I don't feel like, okay, if I put a Zelda down after like 40 hours.
Oh, that's hard.
And I come back, and I just come back like months
Yeah.
later. I'm
You're
lost.
lost.
I don't
Totally.
know what each item does.
Yeah.
I don't know which way is Kakariko Village. I don't know where anything is. Whereas with Destiny, I do feel like I know where everything is. Like I feel like I just pick up a gun and start shooting again.
It's because you played it for 10 times the amount you played Zelda, so...
It could be that, or it just could be
there's
that
a
I feel
language
like,
to it.
there is a
There is.
language to, there's a very basic language to what Destiny is ultimately offering. I think
Yeah.
that's a great way to put it. So I think that's okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it's like the easier way to put this for me is that, well, yeah, of course these games are going to take people. Of course. Like, it just is going to happen. And that's why you need really good DLC content to bring people back. I mean,
They
that's
haven't
the
even
point.
teased us.
It is the point of DLC. So your hardest of the hardcore, your trials crowd, I mean, right, these are the addicts that we see in there. They will be there for every weekend. There's people who play Crucible every weekend. And then there's the Raiders who play all the time. But
Present.
Yeah, present. You'll get pulled away though. Like realistically, you will. Like you're saying, you're gonna run out of steam.
Last week I was pulled away. From Monday to Friday, I
Yeah.
did not play Destiny at all.
Yeah.
But Friday I picked it up for the raid.
Right.
And I think that's what this game's slowly becoming for me, is just my raid game because I'm at the end game.
Yeah, but you probably already played like 100 hours of it or more, so
yeah.
easily
Definitely.
more.
Yeah.
So it's normal, you know.
I have 2 things that I feel like I have left to do. I have to run the raid, grind to 320, just keep running the raid until I get there, you know. And I have to get 1 sword, which involves collecting relic iron on Mars for about 2 hours.
Or 2 days.
Or 2 days.
You just
No,
get marks
that
and,
grind
or you just
crust
get
is
marks
bad.
and oh, you have
can't.
to do it that
That's
way.
for the
yeah, you have to
exotic
get
sword.
the-
And those,
I'm not gonna do that till
those
they
sword
fix that
quests are
quest.
designed
Yeah.
so poorly. I just, you know,
You
I
probably
start.
won't do it. Yeah,
No, I'm just like, do I want to do that, or do I want to?
play Fallout.
Yeah, play Fallout when it comes, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to play Fallout. And the thing about Fallout is once I'm immersed in that world, like you said, with story, like Zelda, you can't step away and come back. I need to see it through to completion. And Fallout is huge. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so, for me, I want to know what the audience thinks.
Yeah.
You know, is there a game on the horizon that is going to pull you away from Destiny if you're an active player?
For an extended period of time.
Yeah, for an
Our
extended
raid
period of
challenge is
time.
enough to hold you over this November, because so far that's that
Yeah.
and what we're about to talk about, which is changes to the economy,
Yeah.
are the only 2 things on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
like,
terms of cool things.
I have a lot of stuff left to do. I mean, I've spent definitely a lot of hours in there, but I only have certain precious time, you know, on the weekends. And like, yeah, I had to grind. I grinded 14 hours 2 weeks ago. I almost died. You know, you go into where you go to bed and you have those weird Destiny dreams. You're like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out from playing 14 hours of this game. But it's because I have a lot to do. So meaning to its credit, I have quests still to go on that some of the stuff I can do on my own, but you're right, Jose, there's a bit of a barrier, or I'm waiting for the daily to pop up.
Yeah.
That definitely, like Tomb Raider could pull me away. Like I'm sitting here right now saying, nah, I'll play Tomb Raider, I'll go raid, I'll hop on, but it gets... The actual real thing maybe we didn't touch on is that your friends get pulled away, then you're really screwed.
Yeah.
And I have that problem. I have several groups, and when they all disappear, one link is broken, it's a pain, man.
Last night that happened to me on Xbox. I could not. My friend who I wanted to run Paradox with was unavailable, so I tried to do it alone. Couldn't. Probably could, but didn't want to put up the
Spent
time
like
for
30
it.
minutes
Yeah, I
trying to
also
do it.
didn't want to tweet and say, "Hey, you want to help me run Paradox?" Because even though I appreciate a lot of you would have come to the rescue, I still feel like that's kind of work in the system. And also, I do want to clarify that for folks that are still chewing through a lot of the stuff that we passed, this conversation is in no way meant to disparage you. If anything,
Yeah, of course not.
we're
No.
kind of wondering, are you going to stick around? Because you still have things to do, sir, or madam. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, and again, this isn't like a knock at the game. It's just asking, like, there's a lot of great stuff happening, and Destiny has held, a lot of our attention for a long
year
time.
old.
But now,
Yeah.
the question is, what's next for it? And there's a lot of great stuff on the horizon. So
let's move on to the next topic. Talk a little bit more about the minutia, the little details of
The weekly
Destiny.
update and the
Yeah.
hype train to fix what?
The economy.
Weapon parts.
Jose has brought this up, and specifically they're talking about weapon parts.
Thank
So we're going to talk
goodness.
about Destiny and how do you fix the economy? So this is from the weekly update.
Well, I'm not an economist, but okay.
This is from the weekly update. They're talking about weapon parts, and they say, on that note, you'll see yet more welcome changes to the in-game economy in the December update. Rumor has it that Petra will have use for your etheric light, and Eris has been asking if anyone out there is hoarding a surplus of worm spore. Turns out she loves the stuff. And
Baby, I've got worm spore for you, and that's not meant to be like a sort of a nasty thing to say, but man, I have like 400 plus
I have a ton of
worm spore.
I do
just
too.
Sitting in my inventory with
just
no
from the
place
raid,
to put it.
you know, and all kinds of rewards that you get for
that and moldering shards. Is she interested in those?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So how do you think they're going to fix it? What is Petra going to do with etheric light?
Yeah, what's broken though first? Because
there's just too many. So we have
stuff sitting in your inventory.
We have etheric light. We have weapon parts that we can't get enough of, which the gunsmith is going to sell now. That's how they're fixing
radiant
that.
Shards, radiant lights,
radiant shards. Yeah, there's so many different forms of inventory that not every piece of weapon not every piece of gear uses anymore. Yeah.
So if you're still sitting on radiant material or ascendant material, like drop everything, take all that crap to the speaker because he can give you motes or he can give you glimmer.
Yeah.
You should have done that already. Yeah. And you may have forgotten, dear sir or madam. So check that vault and make sure, because I did that yesterday. No, but see, I went through and purged all of it because there's no use for that stuff.
What if they bring back something and then I'm like, why did I do it? That's the problem that it did, because I don't think they've said, get rid of it. You'll never need it again. Mm-hmm. They're just like, hey, here's a way to get rid of it.
You'll never need it again. You want to take that bet?
Moats to experience is like the best thing ever. Thank you, Bungie, by the way, for that.
Yeah.
I think if I said that once before, man, it is one of my favorite parts. Is I earn the moats, which I can decide to use on certain things because it's all about what's equipped. So that's actually what's good about the economy.
Okay, so maybe keep 200 of each. But I think that...
But what's broken is what I'm asking.
Yeah, but those materials specifically, sorry, I hate to get granular, were tied to leveling gear, which at the end of the day, you don't do anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all gone.
And you're right about that.
Yeah.
But back to the question. What is broken? Are you just saying your inventory's too full? Is that what's broken? Let's get to the root of your problem, Destin.
So while you guys have been talking, this is what I could think of off the top of my head.
Go.
Your light level is kind of a currency, but just actual currency. Ascendant materials, radiant materials. There's 4 there. Etheric, weapon parts, armor parts, worm spore, relic iron, spin metal, spirit bloom, helium filaments.
Okay. But you don't
all of this stuff.
But wait, you don't. Yeah. I haven't played the beginning. You don't earn Ascendant anymore, do you? Or do you earn
if you run Vault?
You still earn in Vault?
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. And Radiant, you're still earning in
Crotar.
Okay, so you still earn them.
And from that gear.
Yeah.
That's right, because you still need it to level the gear. I just haven't done it in a while. Yeah, so that is, like, it works during that brief period of time, and then you, like, sunset it. See, I think you should be allowed to turn it into legendary marks, for starters, because that is the, call it, year 2 experience for the most part. So that's, like, an easy solution, like, turn it in for marks.
You know what I think would help solve this? Transmogrification. Sean has talked about it many times on the show. Take this old gear, you max it out, and then you're able to transmog it so that it's comparable to a year 2 level piece of armor.
I mean, that's basically almost infusion.
Wait, but don't you get to keep the transmogrification?
So transmog is where, like, let's say you have a piece of year 2 gear that you want to look like year 1 gear.
Yeah.
Well, they can make it so you have to have your year 1 gear max, which makes all these things matter again, and then you can make your year 1 gear have the
year
light
2
level
benefits?
Of a year 2 benefit.
Isn't that like what Etheric Light did essentially? Like basically raising something to a specific
it would raise it to the max light, and then they just abandon it. And it was really unfortunate. I was really excited to get, like, oh man, I could have that Vault of Glass armor. I loved how it looked. I could use my Radiant, Etheric Light.
I guess that's a great point. Why is it that
and then they just got rid of it?
Is the only thing that you can use infusion?
That's what I'm saying. Because they're waiting for the time to release that option. Like, duh. No, I'm serious. Like, it's not like they don't want you to be able to dress up in that. It's just that, one, I don't think they've gotten to it.
Why did
2,
they
had to pace out things. You can only do so many things at once, Like, from a product side, right? Everything is a product that you touch.
This seems a very difficult thing on the coding side, though. You have year 1 stuff. All of a sudden, it's going to have a bubble, and you can ascend it to year 2 status. I mean, they purposefully got rid of a lot of this stuff from year 1, which we'll talk about later.
But wait, we're talking about, like, raid gear. So they'll say, whatever, you can do this thing, Vault of Glass, and now you can infuse. That's probably what they'll do, right?
But don't you want, like, some brand spanking new, like, look or outfit or weapon? Like, do you mean to tell me you would still want to be using Fatebringer right now? Like, I kind of want, like, I let it go.
We'll talk about the year one's weapon and armor that we want, to bring into year two.
Yeah, sorry,
but right now specifically, this is talking about the economy, and one solution was to allow that stuff to be ascended. So let's actually kind of move on to the weapons and armor.
Well, you never answered my question. What is the problem? I will cite a potential problem.
Okay, the problem is
my inventory being full.
Yeah,
I'm not
inventory
earning
is full of junk.
Okay, but I'm not earning a lot of this stuff that it's a problem anymore.
No, that's true.
So that's what I was getting at, is like, I'm not sitting here rolling up another 500 Ascendant shards. Wormspore, though, a lot of Wormspore.
A lot of Wormspore, and also, like, let's talk about Etheric Life for a second. I mean, that's something you get in Prison of Elders, which, when Taken King came out, became an irrelevant space.
That's right.
And it's something we've talked about on the show, that Bungie, right now, it seems that with each release of DLC, they are introducing new things, but older things kind of get left behind, either because of a schedule or because they just don't think about it. But now they're playing catch up, and like right now, for example, it sounds like Petra will accept Etheric Life for some kind of bonus.
Might be onto something.
Don't know what that is. What do you
Prison
mean?
of Elders, an unused space. Petra's kind of, where did she gone, dead? What happened?
She's still there. She still gives you bounties.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, the Petra. I meant the Queen.
You meant the Queen.
But the point is, the space is unused, and I would point to that as another, I bet you, DLC or whatever. Like,
So-
it will come back. Etheric Light may be used and earned in there. Who knows? But
I ran prison with some buddies and just nuked the hell out of Skolas.
I'm sure that was
so
fun.
good. It felt so good.
Actually, I haven't done that yet, but to go back
I
at
need
like a
to.
310 plus and just destroy that a-hole.
Yeah.
What you do? What
I
you
might
use?
do that.
You
this
bring
weekend.
touch. You can
my
one-man touch
goodness.
Malice him, and it nukes him in one run.
with
Really?
Yeah.
with Weapons of Light.
Armor. You use armor because you got to dip
Lots of
in with
light,
them.
yeah, 'cause you
So
gotta-
when you're down to one round, you're doing double damage basically, right?
Yeah.
So you literally watch
But
this whole
either
part
way,
go.
it keeps you
feels
up.
really
Oh,
good.
I bet you it
he
does.
gets wrecked.
Anyway, my thing is, I agree the economy needs tweaks, and they've said it themselves, and they said, thank you for keeping us informed on what you want to see.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, what I'm saying is I don't have a major issue with the economy. Wormspore is getting a little out of control. But I can shred them. I'm just worried about it.
To me, this is a Band-Aid, which is good, but I still feel that they're not addressing the exotic shard economy. I feel is terrible. If you are a year 2 player just coming into this game, year 2, you didn't have year 1 stuff that you broke down. How the heck are you getting exotic shards? Like it feels like it's impossible. Like you are wasting way too many strange coins, which, by the way, they also didn't address in this update how they're
strange
fixing
coins.
that.
There we go.
Right now,
Thank you.
everyone's
These are
running
the
to
another one.
Prison
Weapon
of
parts,
Elders.
strange coins, and exotic shards.
Yeah.
Those are problems.
Yeah,
that
and
we
this
should
is
be
why
talking
people are
about.
running prison like insane folk,
to get some,
because
like,
they
coins.
just want those coins. Because you took them out of the weekly and you had reasons for that.
14
but not
economies we're up to.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah,
But
exactly.
see, that's not necessarily the problem. But
So they
exotic
took
shards,
armor
weapon
parts used to be 3 different types of armor parts. Then they reduced it down to 1. So why don't they do that with planetary materials? Why don't they instead of having 5 different kinds of planetary materials? Why don't they just have planet mats?
Maybe. I don't mind that so much personally, but your quest to get a bunch of stuff is annoying. But anyway, the important thing
It's
here
like you
is
buy it now
weapon
anyway.
parts
It's
you can
meaningless.
buy from the gunsmith will be able to soon. That's huge. That is such a struggle for me, and it keeps me from using weapons that I've earned.
It's because they made a mistake when designing the new economy system. You don't get weapon parts when dismantling for some reason. It has
well,
to
you
be
don't
a bug.
get you don't get enough.
Yeah.
And I do think we're overlooking that they have made progress on one front, which is that the raid and the raid materials that drop are no longer the gateway to leveling to light
True.
level, which was a massive pain in the ass. Like one of the reasons
liked
that
it,
Dark
kinda.
Below was like just crapped on by a lot of people is because how many times did you have to run it to finally hit 32?
3.
Yeah. Did you really?
I got it in 3.
Those you lucky drops though.
one exotic, and then whatever piece you got. So you just kind of piece together what you needed,
Yeah,
Some
but
of us
see,
were
you
not
had,
that lucky.
But you had to get the drop in the right place. So.
Yeah.
Like even that to me to get over 300 was a pain. I was
Yeah.
not getting gauntlets and boots of all things.
Yeah.
Because I had an exotic helmet. So
Yeah.
in Taken King.
Anyway, so let's go on to the last topic, and that is the year 1 weapons and armor we want to come back. So Zur, a few weeks ago, sold Skull of Dire Ahamkara, and people started data mining testing. They're like, hey, just so you know, there's year 2 versions of all these other pieces of gear. So I'll start. I really want this. Armamentarium. It was one of my favorite Titan chess pieces. It allows you to throw 2 grenades. I still equip it when I go into regular PvP because it makes Striker viable again. The Solar Titan's very powerful, but even he can have 2 grenades.
Really? I didn't notice.
Yeah, nobody noticed. Yeah.
Sunbreaker Titans running rampant. I had no idea.
I have nightmares about that sound now, man.
Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, it freaks me out.
Just run away.
That's it.
It's like I hear that and I hear Hunters and I just run the other way. I'm like, if I get away and I wait about 30 seconds, I know his super's gone, and then I tackle him.
But anyway, so it would be great to get Armamentarium.
Yeah, so I would love Armamentarium. I would love overall balancing of the supers because I feel like when Year 2 launched and the new supers came, nobody on Titan is really rocking Striker or the other classes because we talked about this before on the show because they're just too easy to be countered now. It's like you pop a bubble and somebody else has a hammer Titan, he just throws a hammer at you, you're dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's useless. So, yeah.
Yeah, they got to balance some of the new supers and stuff out.
Warlock, you know, with the electricity one. Warlock's pretty good because all those have their benefits.
Yes, but Stormcaller is OP in regular Crucible. I mean, you can really wreck shop in some...
Hunter, sorry.
Yeah.
Whoa. Excuse me.
Hunters, the first 2 supers from Year 1 are still great, and then
PvP.
with all the bugs with the Night Stalker, it's just not great.
But they're still smoothing that out.
Yeah.
I'm more on the weapon side. I was thinking through like between like Icebreaker. I definitely really miss.
Oh man.
Yeah, like Icebreaker is a big one, right?
Yeah.
And even as much as I love Black Spindle, like that ammo refill is like so nice. But I'm gonna and I gotta go with Vex just because I know it's a raid weapon, but as an elemental exotic and the sound of it's one of the coolest weapons, and I use it all the time.
I still have mine.
Anytime there's solar burn, I'm like, yes, it's so awesome.
I like it.
So Vex is my pick.
If you equip those year 1s and like go into prison or something, you only get dropped to like 280, 290. If you have other gear that's really good.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can still
so you're still pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jose, you got anything?
I think the Year 1 weapon that I do miss. I feel like Year 2, there's way too many exotic primaries. Like I'm kind of, it kind of pains me to look at the kiosks sometimes because you just see like this stack of weapons in the primary slot and the special and heavy,
it's like 3.
Not as many.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want Galahorn back, even though I have said nice things about Galahorn. Like I did call it like Destiny's Excalibur at one point, and it was kind of cool that there was this one sort of unicorn that was really hard to catch. Right now my weapon is Patience in Time, which was the second exotic I picked up. I think my first exotic was Monte Carlo, and I picked it up and then I put it down immediately because I wasn't an auto rifle guy, and it didn't really satisfy me on any front. But then I got Patience in Time and filled in those bubbles to have the ability to be invisible just for a few seconds of staring down the scope, and I really enjoyed that and its stability, which was one of the highest, I believe, in the game. Don't get me wrong, though, Black Spindle still hot, like still hot, but I really enjoy like really good snipers, and I thought Patience in Time was one that I didn't like. Icebreaker, like I get 7 like recharge bullets, 6 whatever. The whole like, man, that stability was garbage. Like just let me line up the next shot. Give me a minute.
Yeah,
it's not good for Crucible. Good for single player.
Not Crucible, exactly.
I wasn't a single
but you
player
didn't like PvE. It's funny that you liked Patience in Time so much. I assume in PvE because that's a lot of what you play.
Yeah, that's all I do.
I liked it, but I actually just found like the zoom range is such a long zoom, and the invis like against AI. Like I don't know, it works, but I'd never found a situation that I
can't shoot what you can't see, Fran.
That's right. But it's still a good pick. I mean, you can't be wrong with your own picks, but. It got me thinking about Plan C, by the way, as well. That was my first legendary roll into an exotic.
I'm thinking the one that auto shoots.
You're thinking of Pocket Infinity.
I really like Pocket Infinity. Then they broke it. Then it's still broken. They never fixed it, and it just got abandoned.
No one says that.
But the point is, there's some great Year 1 stuff. This is proof right now that you bring it back, we're going to be excited about it.
Everything but Galahorn.
So I really like Galahorn. Like you said, it was the Excalibur of Destiny. I don't feel like there is a weapon that does that anymore, and I think that's unfortunate.
Sleeper
with Year 2.
feels like they're they kind of are trying. And think about it. Has that quest opened again since that one time, that one day, like over a month ago?
I don't because I've been waiting for the call.
I check Destiny Reddit every morning, and I have yet to see anybody going crazy.
I've been waiting, and I have been very busy during the weekdays, but
because some of us tried to run it on our Xbox character, but we didn't have all the rifles, so we couldn't have it.
I don't miss Galahorn per se, but I do miss that one random drop type item, not one that you can easily get through a quest line, but that one random drop type item that just like you get incredibly excited when you get it because it's like the best weapon in the game, and like it is insanely powerful.
Are you
we don't have that anymore. I'm talking about Galahorn.
Like how Galahorn used to drop, and it was
when I got Galahorn, I lost it.
Wait a minute. Okay. No, because I do
and
feel
when I got
like
Hawkmoon pre-patch, I lost it because those weapons were really good.
So the only places that I found that the setting that you described were the Nightfall and the raid where like if Fatebringer dropped or something like that.
Fatebringer was
and I do feel like in this raid, the weapons don't really match up to weapons from the other.
They're not exciting, right?
Well, the
They're
LMG, I'm very excited about my large machine gun. You need to take that back.
Okay.
But I feel like the rest I haven't really been that
machine
excited
gun's
for.
pretty dope,
Yeah, it Pac-Man's taken. Like, I love it.
I like the machine gun. I think it's a cool gun. I wasn't like, I got the machine gun like I was with Galahorn or with Hawkmoon, you know?
You only yell like that if you play with Little John, first of all. It's like, I got Galahorn.
I miss that feeling that Destiny used to have in year one when there were very specific weapons that were hard to get. And when you got them, you were ridiculously. It was like winning the lottery because it's RNG.
We've talked about this before because they quested them. You know? And I think they need to bring back a little bit of RNG, but also not as punishing. I mean, again, the reason you were so excited is because, it's like Stockholm syndrome. Like, I hate to tell you, but like it's bad. Like, you shouldn't have been that excited. You should have been mad. I was mad. But you know what I was saying. I was saying, sorry.
There's a video clip of Destin flipping out over getting his Galahorn on IGN.
No, Hawkmoon.
Hawkmoon.
Oh, it was Hawkmoon?
I wasn't recording for Galahorn.
Yeah.
I wish you were.
Yeah.
But anyway, bring back some year one stuff. I know it's on the horizon somewhere. We'll be excited.
Yeah, and I know that part of the reason too they nerfed the raid weapons aren't quite as is by design as Memorial is by design. I mean, Bungie kind of looked at it and said they didn't. At least it sounds like from interviews I've heard with Luke Smith. And Luke, by the way, you're more than welcome to come on this program and talk about this with us. But ultimately, it sounded like they didn't want you to replace they didn't want you to just put stock in this one weapon. They wanted to give you a bunch of stuff that's able to choose.
We all know why they did it.
And I think that's fine, but I think that the accidental mistake in that is that the excitement is missing from when some of these drops happen.
Yeah,
because even though you
bring
really
back
want
romance,
because I think the intended effect is they wanted you to be excited about those high level drops that you can use for infusion on this stuff, but it's just not the same. I
got excited. A piece of garbage that can make my other sort of okay thing better.
I don't feel quite that way. When if I have not gotten like a 318 or even above a 315 yet drop.
I get really excited about the pieces of garbage I get that I can put into another thing that's okay. Just so I can have a higher light level.
It's a negative Nancy. But if I get a 320, but what I'm saying is getting a 320 drop is pretty darn special.
It is pretty. It's pretty hot.
The point is, it's exciting. It's just not as exciting if I've been chasing this exact special thing.
Yeah.
And when it drops, it drops. That's
so instead of like, I got Galahorn, it was, I got this 320 fusion
That's
rifle.
Right.
It's
I can infuse.
Here's my reaction when I get a 320. Oh, I got that helmet I have. Oh, it's 320. All right, infuse.
Yeah, I know.
That's not the reaction I want. I want to be super excited.
No, for sure. And I think I assume they have to be taking that into consideration.
Yeah, but I think France pointing out Stockholm syndrome is 100% true.
Yeah, you're overselling.
You were there like basically like foaming at the mouth for something to drop, and it could be anything in some cases.
Yeah, like you're mad that you know how to get Sleeper Simulant now, and
I didn't say I was mad.
Well, no, but quote unquote, meaning that it's attainable. It's not as special anymore, and when you do get it. The other problem is that Sleeper Simulant hasn't turned out to be like this wicked, ridiculous thing.
Oh,
but see,
I got my 280 Sleeper Simulant finally.
Right, but see, this is polarizing. Is that Galahorn? I actually disliked the OP power of it. Like it broke the game for me in the sense that do you have a Galahorn and you need to get one and you're chasing one. It really did when you think about it.
Fran doesn't like rejection. That's what he's saying.
No, it's
people
just
who
silly.
don't play Destiny know what that weapon is.
We've had this conversation on the
There is no weapon that is as exciting.
But I want to come back powerful.
We need that magic back.
Yeah. But I don't want people telling me how to beat this boss with we all equip freaking Gallahorn. It is so annoying.
It's a tough solution
I want to get away
to come up with.
It is, but that's where, exactly. You want something special, but it can't be so OP that you have to use it for everything. It breaks things. I like that there's balance and stuff is situational. I change my weapons more than ever. Although I will say the one thing, man, I have to have tracking rockets like in PvE. In PvP, it sucks without tracking. And Gallahorn and Truth are the only ones, right?
Yeah, but you're not like interviewing your raid mates going, you guys got tracking rockets? Because it's not Pshaw.
No, you're not.
Like, I don't want nothing to do with you.
I'm just saying Gallahorn has that. And it is special in its own right, for sure.
But I'm saying that it's important, but it's not as important as what Gallahorn was being elevated to certain people in the raid, which was clearly obnoxious.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
The Wolfpack rounds on top of the OP damage, and that was what did it. It was just ridiculous. So.
All right.
All right, guys, that's the end of the show. We went over. Move on. Fran, do you want to talk about what's going on next week?
Yeah, we have House Party, as we've mentioned. IGN House Party here November 14th is at DNA Lounge. Tickets are sold out, unfortunately. But if you're coming, you can dance nearby, maybe. We'll hang out after. Jose wants to provide the soundtrack. I want to make you do it the whole show now when we do it.
So on that note, I think what we're going to do next week is we're going to record an episode Friday. Then on Saturday, we're going to go do the live show.
We should just play the episode live and not do anything at the house party.
Well, great idea. Now I have to figure out live streaming at this giant event. Jose.
No. I mean, record here live on Friday and then just play it on screen and sit there in silence. We watch it
in
with
the audience. You're like, this is great.
What you guys think? Wasn't that awesome? That part where he said the thing.
Yeah.
Fran. Oh, man.
So anyway, we're going to have a regular episode next week. Then the following week, it's actually going to be the archive of the live show. So if you aren't able to attend because it is sold out, you will be able to.
But this will be for podcasts. But, look, production schedule. We'll be breaking out, clips from the show as soon as we can. And should be a fun show. But the point is, if you're in San Francisco, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Fran Mirabella.
At Destin Legary. It's in the lower 30 if you want to see the video.
At Jose_Otero.
But hit us up if you're in town and didn't make it to the show. And if you're at the show, absolutely hit us up. And we can't wait to see everybody who made it out there.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, until next time, Guardians out.
Guardians Party.
I missed it now because I was dancing with Jose.
You guys are doing all right, you want to do it again?
Yeah,
no, you don't have to.
No, we're doing it.
Three. Jose, are you going to do it? I got a ton of pressure for you to do it. Come on. A little one.
I'll think about it at the live show.
Yeah, I think it's the live show. That might be the place.
Maybe.
You think so?
If you're recording, I won't do it.
Cue us up, Destin.
Until next time, Guardians out.
To space.